Hi everyone, my name's Sam. I just wanted to do a video. I asked Andrew, Laura, Dale and Matty if I could put together a testimony as a video. I'm a very, you'll see by my paintings, a visual person. So for me, if I saw somebody who had been to combined therapies and talking about their experience, it would be super beneficial for me. So I wanted to do it basically because it's helped me so much, beyond words. I would literally, it sounds very dramatic, but it is seriously true. I'd have literally had to die and have my, looking back in my life, to be able to release what I've been able to release with these guys. I cannot express to you how loving, kind, compassionate, makes me tear up. Just such beautiful people and hold such sacred space, and they are so gifted, so beautiful, and they really, honestly, couldn't have helped me any more. They've given me so much and so many tools to work with. So, just to explain a little bit of my first experience. So, the Matrix will try and fuck with you. Not so much the first time, definitely the second time, whether you go or not. Just ignore it. Like, be observant of your reality and what's going on for that. That's the only advice I can give to you, because if you've got, as in me with my car issues, if you don't address those first of all, it will come into your reality further. Anyway, the first time was absolutely fine. I managed to get cover for work and I managed to go, and my soul knew instantly that I had to go, and that's why I went. As soon as I arrived to Redmayne, I had a panic attack. It is extreme, but my heart rate pulsed so fast I could hardly even breathe. So I sat in the car doing breathing exercise before I came in, because the programs knew what was about to happen. So I couldn't have been any happier to meet everybody. It was a real surreal experience. My first experience was on the light, the Lucia light. But there was so much of my body that was fighting the Lucia light, particularly my stomach. It was just in this tightest knot and did not want to give up. And Andrew was guiding me through that. Andrew at one point even put the light on my stomach, so I was able to let that go and then get the full experience. I didn't have any expectations for that experience. So then I went through Innocent Child. I was greeted by the lion and the lioness, and that was a journey in itself, meeting heart to heart with the lioness and feeling that oneness, that connection together, and meeting all my ancestors, and at the end creating a big roar. I also, then Dale had come through when I was in the Lucia light, and Dale, we created then an ancestral fire with ancestors, and they were teaching me singing and dancing and what an ancestral fire is. And then that's when Dale had picked up on my sexual abuse that happened to me when I was a young girl, and that was really, really powerful. I never felt heat inside my whole body like it. I was on fire, just breaking through all the literal shit. So then after that, I went and had a flotation, which was amazing, and the cats came in and was teaching me how to purr inside my stomach, and lots. If I tell you everything, we'd be here all day. But so much happened then, even within the flotation tank. Then straight after that, with Andrew and Laura, we went and had cranial sacral therapy and massage gun work. They let go of more, like what really working on all my fascias, which again, my ignorance, didn't even know that fascias were in all the positions that they were. Especially Andrew really worked on my hips through the stress of and worry when I was pregnant with my son, who I was going to be a single parent, and so I'd put all of that worry into my body. So that they worked on that for me, and the cranial sacral therapy. It was the first time I'd ever seen or experienced my ancestors. I can say that I've been listening to Andrew's work for 3 years, but to say after this experience whether I was truly doing the work, I wasn't. I was kidding myself. So I'd like to share, when I returned, a prayer that me and my ancestors created when I got home, and was journaling. And it's so crucial you journal everything, because there's just so much that happens. You will never be able to remember it all if you don't write it down immediately. So on the way home, actually, I'll tell you, this is funny too. So obviously Andrew and Laura had been working on me, and for my son, and then on my way home my son had rang me up and said, "What time did you have cranial sacral therapy?" He doesn't even know what cranial sacral therapy is. He just psychically picked it up where we were working together. And then lots of great synchronicities on the way home too. So I created this. I'm just looking down because I'm just going to read this to you. My family, my ancestors showed me that they had never left me. It was me that was absent. And they had been waiting a long time for me to come home, gifting me with the symbolic messages in the great remembrance of home and our unique relationships, our bonds, our love for one another. They want to be a part of this lifetime with me. I have to show up, dedicate myself, my practice, so that they can be a part of the whole experience of the now, all working with me simultaneously, ignoring the linear timeline. They are all running together. There is no separation of time. If not now, then when? Now is the time. I accept who I am, acknowledge the gifts that have always been there now. I dedicate myself to the other part of myself, that I had forgotten who I truly am. I am not just Samantha Lowman. I am a multi-dimensional being having this experience. However, many of my family and my ancestors want to be acknowledged. They and I want to be a part of this journey, so we can grow, learn, heal, and become the loving best versions of ourselves. Be the lioness, feeling freedom, feeling the wind on my body, and the sensories heightened, the love of oneness, where two hearts become one. Be the sea people and the land people, singing your own song, creating this life and simultaneously in others. Be the shaman, igniting the fire both inside myself and on the land, creating my own dance and rhythm. Be the peacock, opening up your feathers, show your beauty. Be the eye with the blazing pupil sun, and show your light on this world. Use the gifts that the ancestors have given you to protect yourself. The tortoise shell on your spinal cord, the butterfly cocoon, and the roar of the lioness. Don't hide. Why? Now you see who you truly are. Embrace, fly, run, dance, sing, and create. It's your time, beautiful child. We knew you return home. So coming back from my first experience, many of my friends, family, and everyone's really seen the difference in me. I had a unique experience where one of my customers had come in to see me, and she's a repeat client, and it had been 2.5 years, and she couldn't get over how I looked. She kept saying I looked so young, so happy, so joyful. She asked me if I got married, which I haven't, because she couldn't get over how much I've changed. She kept probing me. She asked me if I had more children, because she couldn't understand this glow about me, this awe, how much younger I looked. And yeah, so throughout our meeting, we probably spent about 5 minutes talking about work, and the rest of it was her probing me to how much I'd changed, which was just beautiful. So my second experience, I saw it again come up for the combined therapy, and I knew I had to go back. I'd spent a lot of money in my past on working on myself. I'd had Reiki, I'd had counselling, I'd had many different formations. I've spent a lot of money on myself, but I can tell you now that I've never experienced anything like I did on that day, and how much it opened me up, how much it changed me, how much I've dedicated myself to practice every time I returned, every day since I've returned, And yeah, so when they'd put it out about doing the combined therapies again in York, I signed myself up. So I've just returned from 2 days of being with these beautiful people. Again, it's like just meeting my soul family again. Honestly, it was Laura, Matty and Dale, and they're just the most beautiful people. And so this experience was very different to the last experience. As we know, where we're multidimensional, there's multidimensional layers to trauma. So with my abuse, there was many layers that I'd not even recognised. I thought that keep revisiting it, I was bringing it back into my field, and I was igniting it and giving it too much power. But unbeknown to me, that's not how inner work is meant to be. Inner work is meant to be going back in neutrality with the spiritual court of equity and looking at it from a different bird's eye point of view, with no polarity, just love, light. So my first day was spent in the we went first of all in the sauna, and then from there we went straight into the flotation tank. My body instantly opened up and was telling me all the areas that needed to be worked on, my knee particularly, and all my legs were like just kicking out. So then straight from there we went back, and then I had cranial sacral therapy with Laura, which was just magnificent. All the ancestors were ready to come back in. We wove a basket. We had whales singing and song. We had wonderful magical experiences. Then straight from there I went on to the Lucia Light with Dale and Matty, and looking at my dream world and what was going on there, and looking at the work that I hadn't done, basically. So I was taken to a very unique place with very unique beings, and afterwards I had a good chat with Matty and Dale. I was just looking at things on way too three-dimensionally. I wasn't looking on how you heal. I thought every time I looked back at myself, I was looking at the victim, and I didn't want to be a victim. And so, unbeknown to me, going back, I'm actually going back in the spiritual court of equity. I'm going back in light and sending light to myself. So I'm not going back in the way that I thought I was going back. So when I went back to my hotel, I was trying to journal, and I was really struggling in the room, so I went in the car to journal. And then when I got back into the room, to go to sleep, I had, let's say, an unwanted visitor. And then from the wonderful places that I've been in the Lucia light and met a wonderful sentient being, it came in and helped me. I asked it to come in and help me, which it did. But what you look at looks back at you. So then going straight back to meet the guys back at the house, I was greeted by Matty, which was perfect because of the situation. And he was able to really give me some gifts and some tools on what to work with. And I'm still dealing and was dealing with, again, a layer I hadn't seen, an ancestral curse, shall we say. So then, after explaining everything to Matty, Dale and Laura came in, and then I explained everything that had happened to them. And just the synchronicity of it all. If I'd gone home and had that experience, I wouldn't know how to deal with any of it. Everything that Matty and Dale had told me that day, I couldn't journal. It just wouldn't come through. I didn't hear it. I didn't hear it. It didn't come through. So to go back the second day and to be able to go through everything that happened was absolutely magnificent, because then I was able to go to more depths, more layers, and I had a wonderful experience with Matty under the Lucia light with his wonderful ancestor revocation. And instantly after that, all that energy and all that light came back to me, and I was a different person. I was really broken in the morning. They helped me, they guided me, they have so much love, they're the most beautiful, compassionate, kind people. I know I keep saying this, but a lot of people, including myself, you don't know what love is sometimes. You think you know what love is, but when you meet brothers and sisters who are pure, unconditional love, it's so euphoric. It's such a different way of being. It's a wonderful experience. So after that, we went then straight to then again sauna, and then going to the float. And the sauna was fantastic. I'd been able to stretch all of the muscles from the gun work, and then go into the flotation tank, where I was able to then go back and visit myself in that moment. And what was so unique, and the reason why I'm being so transparent to you, is because my body showed me I was riddled in fear. My body showed me the trauma that the body had gone through. I'd gone from the day before having all these wonderful psychic events and being able to see everything and miss the point that my body went through this experience, and my body is in this reality, and my body was showing me all the traumas that needed to be released, all the areas that I was storing all of this up, and I hadn't given enough space and time to my body. And it was a really unique experience, because I know it's in Andrew's teachings, but sometimes you have to experience these things yourself to really, really, really understand. His material is absolutely amazing. So then when these things do happen, then you can go back to reference, knowing that you've heard it before, and then opening up new layers, then you understand it more. But I've just never taken into consideration what my body had been through. So going back to the flotation tank, I was then able to go back to myself during that traumatic time and event. And what was really fascinating to me was the fact that we'd opened up the spiritual court of equity, taken back my power and put it into the zero minus infinity. So that abuser wasn't even in the room. I was just looking at myself, giving myself love all around, like a butterfly cocooning myself, going around my heart with Matty's advice and cocooning the heart. and I was able to speak to myself, and I was able to connect. And as everything was transpiring in that room, knowing with hindsight foresight what had happened, and hindsight foresight, all the gifts the ancestors had given me the day before was all for this day. So then I was able to go back in the room, and I was able to connect with myself, giving myself love, caressing myself, kissing her, hugging her, and talking. What she really wanted to know was everything that was about to happen to her, everything that then happened afterwards with my love, so she could understand what was going to happen and what was happening. And we just kept saying to each other, it's just a moment. It is just a moment. And then being in the zero minus infinity, with everybody holding space for you, being able to take that power away from that was just, I can't even put it into words how much it means to me. So then when I came out of the float, obviously with Laura and Dale and Matty, it's just, you're able to keep telling them everything that you're doing as well as what they're doing. Because again, the layers, you've got the modalities that they're using, you've got all three of them, you've got yourself, your DNA, your signature frequency, and your ancestors, and then just your presence, but then you actually doing the work, you actually putting light on the dark and actually understanding that there is so many layers to this combined therapy. It's not just a matter of laying on a bed and these guys looking at it and removing it. Yes, they can, but you need to be a part of that journey. Your ancestors want to be a part of that journey, and Great Spirit wants to be a part of that journey. That's what we're all here for, right? So after that, hindsight foresight, we went back. I had some more work done on my body with the gun massage, they were using two at the same time, which really, really confuses your parasympathetic. And I'm not going to lie to you, it's one of the most, for me, what I've been through in my life experience, it was one of the most painful experiences I've ever been through, because again, with my psychic abilities, I could see all the blades that I put in myself, all these layers and layers and layers and layers. So it's not all gone. I've still got a lot of work to do, even with my body. There is 23 years worth where I hadn't done the work, 23 years worth of continuing to do the work, and I've still got to work on my body as well as myself. And so then with that, God, my next experience was, I've never experienced anything quite like it. So then going with Dale, doing psychic surgery, and then with Laura, doing cranial sacral therapy with me. She holds you in such a way and puts you back into the fetus of the mother's womb. And that cradling and that rocking, you're that innocent child, that baby, just being loved, caressed with the divine feminine being that holds space for you, who's Laura. Well, I had Dale there as the divine masculine, again, balance, bringing balance back. And then because I'd gone and done more inner work, it's layering with ancestors, you take on the responsibility, you get more. So because I'd done that in the float, I was able to then have a somatic release, which was my soul crying, my soul getting it out. I've never experienced anything like it. The release, it is incredible. It was, again, looking at it from the spiritual court of equity, there is that polarity there. It's just easy to let it go. And it was a unique experience as well, because as Dale was literally getting all this shit out and working through, then I bolted upright And I was nearly sick, but in the end it was just all mucus coming out of me, literally coming out. Again, such a gift to be with such beautiful people to support me and hold me in that sacred space. Then after that, I had then another, just goes on, wonderful experience with Matty under the light. They're just putting light back into me. It was a day that I didn't want psychic. I listened to my body. I knew what my body wanted. I didn't want the psychedelic experience. I didn't want it. My body wanted healing. Deep, 23 years worth of healing. So then I went under the Lucia light, under pure white light. I just needed to fill myself up with white light, which was obviously not my idea, my healer's idea. And Matty sung to me, which, if you've heard his singing, is one of the most magical experiences. It brings soul tears to my eyes. It was just wonderful. And then I was left to be by myself, which again was super important. I needed that time on my own. And then the ancestors come in. I had north, east, south, west sitting by me. I had all my ancestors then literally interlinking on each other's shoulders, putting all the light back into me. And then I was able to then collect the light from all the areas and places that had been closed by Matty and Dale, and again, without all those doors were closed, without any interaction in that reality, I was able to go up and down and collect my light and then come back through, and then able to sit and talk with Dale and Matty and Laura about everything that you experience and everything that you're going through. It's such a gift, because sometimes it's a lot of information all at one time. For me, I'm 3 years into Andrew's material. I'm a baby learning, and didn't realise how much for me to learn. But I've got it, like 2 days after these 2 days, and now seeing it, I know what I've got to do. I know coming back every day, turn up for myself, do the inner work, help my body. My body is this experience, not just my soul, my heart, my beingness, my body. So I know what I've got to do. I know my responsibility. Would I go back? Am I going to go back again? Yes. But I'm not going back until I've done a lot of my work. I've been guided by my ancestors, by Dale, Matty and Laura, what I need to work on. And once I've done that, I'm going to go back. Is it because they didn't do a good job that I need to go back? Absolutely not. The reason why is we're multidimensional beings. It's multifaceted. There's so many layers to this. There's so many layers of discovery, and the more you do, then you'll see more. And I know that I will see more. But I know it's my responsibility to go back and do this work. So again, the reason why I wanted to do this testimony by video is so you can feel my heart space, so you can look me in the eye, so you can see me and know what I've experienced. And self-love isn't just, what you think. Self-love is showing up and doing this work. And I really, from my experience, don't think to a certain degree that you can even comprehend how many layers there are without going and see and experiencing this combined therapy. I mean, like the energy level, I feel like I've given these beautiful people a penny. This is 3 days. I feel like I've given them a penny's worth of energy exchange for what they have given back to me. So if my story helps you, then my heart is happy, because from what it's done for me, it's just the most magical, beautiful experience, and I will continue to do it. So yeah, thanks everyone, thanks for listening, and much love to you all.